Imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling a strange sensation inside your chest. Not pain, something else, something impossible, a tingling, almost like electricity pooling beneath your ribs. You check the news. Everyone felt it. 8 billion people at the same moment. And then the notification appears in your mind, as clear as thought itself. One-time teleportation device activated. Choose your destination carefully. What just happened to humanity? Let's explore what a one-time teleportation device means when it appears inside every single person on Earth and why using it might be the hardest decision you'll ever make. In the first 60 minutes, the world goes quiet, not silent, but listening, cautious. Everyone is doing the same thing, trying to understand what's happening. Scientists scramble, governments convene emergency sessions, and individuals, billions of them, begin to think about something they've never had to consider before. Where do I want to be? The news immediately floods with attempts. A climber trapped on Mount Everest teleports to sea level. A person in a hospital bed disappears and reappears in their childhood home. A woman in a burning building vanishes and materializes in her daughter's arms across the country. It works. It actually works. And suddenly, the impossible becomes real. But reality catches up quickly. Here's what no one anticipated. Infinite choice is paralyzing. A teenager in Tokyo has only one chance to teleport. She could go to New York, to Tokyo Tower, to the moon if she can reach orbital distance, to her grandmother's house in rural Japan, to the exact location where she was born, to Mars, to anywhere. One choice, forever. And the weight of that decision begins to sink in. Some people teleport within minutes. A refugee family uses it to escape a war zone. A person with a terminal illness teleports to be with their family for what might be their final days. A worker climbs out of poverty by teleporting to a wealthy country to start over. For some, the decision is obvious. But for most, for billions, it's the most agonizing choice of their lives. Days pass, then weeks, then months. Billions of people still haven't used their teleportation device. Some are waiting for the right moment. Some are paralyzed by regret. If they use it now, what if they need it later? Some are strategizing. Should I wait until I have a medical emergency? Should I save it as insurance? Should I use it for love or for survival or for opportunity? But there's a darker consequence nobody planned for. The moment people realize they can teleport is the moment certain infrastructure becomes optional. Why commute if you can teleport? Why maintain airports when you don't need planes? Why invest in transportation networks? Entire industries vanish overnight. Airlines collapse. Shipping companies shutter. The trucking industry, millions of drivers, suddenly becomes irrelevant. Not immediately, not all at once, but inevitably. And the economic fallout cascades. Supply chains that took decades to build crumble because people are no longer willing to spend months planning logistics when they could just teleport when needed. But wait, there's a crucial detail we missed. You can only use it once. Governments realize something terrifying. If someone with hostile intent uses their teleportation device to get close to power, to missiles, to critical infrastructure, there's almost no way to stop them. A person with malicious intent can teleport directly into the Oval Office, into the Kremlin, into a nuclear power plant. And then what? They can't teleport again, but they've already done the damage. The world enters a period of unprecedented paranoia. Security protocols become meaningless. Borders become meaningless. A wall is useless when someone can appear on the other side. A locked door is just a door when someone can skip past it entirely. Nations demand registries. They demand that people declare their intended destination. But how do you enforce that? How do you make someone accountable for a choice that exists only in their mind? You can't, and that's the problem. 20 years later, a strange new society has emerged from the chaos. Most people still haven't used their devices. They've become a kind of insurance policy, a just in case, a psychological comfort that exists in the back of everyone's mind. Some people use theirs for love. They teleported across oceans to be with someone. Some used it for escape, from abuse, from poverty, from war. Some used it for opportunity, teleporting to a place where they could start fresh. Some are using it as medicine, teleporting to locations with better treatment for their illnesses, but billions of devices remain unused. There's a class divide that's emerged. People who use their devices are forced to live with their choice, to either regret it or celebrate it. People who haven't used theirs live in a state of perpetual possibility. They could go anywhere. They could change everything, but they don't. And that paralysis becomes its own kind of cage. Here's what the one-time teleportation device really represents: the weight of consequence. In the world before, we could plan, move, change our minds. We could take a job and quit, move somewhere and return. pursue a person, and leave if it didn't work out. But with one teleportation device, you have to commit. You have to live with the reality of your choice forever. It forces humanity to confront something we've avoided for millennia. The idea that some choices matter, that not all opportunities are equally valid, that you might want multiple things, but you can only have one, that your life is not infinite possibility, it's a series of finite, irreversible moments. Some philosophers argue it would be the most transformative event in human history, not because of the technology itself, but because of what it forces us to acknowledge, that we are mortal, our time is limited, and the choices we make actually matter. Others argue it would lead to widespread depression and decision paralysis, that knowing you only get one teleportation would make people so cautious they'd never use it, that billions would live their entire lives waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. But here's the truth, no one really understands until it happens. You don't need to know where you're going to use it. The device doesn't require you to have a reason. It doesn't demand perfection, you just have to decide. Somewhere in the chaos, in the decision paralysis, in the fear of choosing wrong, humanity would eventually learn something simple. You can't optimize every choice. You can't plan perfectly. You can only decide, act, and live with the consequences. And maybe that's not the collapse of civilization. Maybe that's exactly what humanity needed.